Alright, so I love Five Nights at Freddy's, but one of the things that I do love about this franchise is the lore, the theorizing, and the speculation that comes with it. And I thought, to celebrate 300 subscribers, I'd throw my hat into the theorizing ring and make my own Five Nights at Freddy's theory, to try and solve an issue that I don't think anyone else has talked about yet. What is Psychic Friend Freadbear? Let's begin. But before we start, here are a couple disclaimers. Number one, I am not claiming this is 100% correct. I may very well be wrong, like many other theorists before and very many after me. Number two, please don't harass me. This is my understanding and my opinion and my theory about the FNAF lore. Alright, with those disclaimers out of the way, we can finally get started on the video. And to one of the most infuriating questions that has plagued my mind and many others for the longest time: what's the deal with Psychic Friend Freadbear?
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic Friend Freadbear.
Alright, so for those of you who don't know who Psychic Friend Freadbear is, Psychic Friend Freadbear is the fan-made nickname for the Freadbear plush in FNAF 4 that follows the crying child and talks to him throughout the 8-bit mini-games. Psychic Friend Freadbear seemingly stalks the crying child and manages to become his best friend throughout the game, knowing things that no one else should know about the crying child. He disguises himself as a flower and ends up in a storm drain to keep an eye on the crying child. Now, most of the fandom has commonly accepted the answer that Psychic Friend Freadbear is simply a lonely Freddy that was in the Fazbear Frights book, Fetch, being operated by William Afton as a sort of nanny cam to keep an eye on his son, the crying child. But I believe that that explanation might not be entirely the truth.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic Friend Freadbear.
Alright, so the main points of the theory is that Psychic Friend Freadbear is a sort of mix between three things: a real-life Freadbear plush that the crying child had, the idea of a lonely Freddy, and the hallucinogenic gases that were used throughout Five Nights at Freddy's 4. We know that Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place under the influence of hallucinogenic gases due to experiments that were done in the FNAF 4 house by William Afton on his kids. These experiments, or at least the idea that experiments like this were happening in the FNAF 4 houses, were revealed to us in a Tales from the Pizzaplex book, Didophobia. Alright, so with that explanation out of the way, let me talk about the theory. So, I believe that Psychic Friend Freadbear could very well be a hallucination, because Psychic Friend Freadbear manages to be in a storm and also disguising himself as a flower. Mind you, if this was an actual doll or a series of nanny cams set up, first of all, some kid would probably just steal it. Second of all, a little bit of rain would have completely ruined the circuits and the wiring put up there. And if it was a lonely Freddy doll running from location to location, then that doll would be light speed easy. And for as insane as this franchise is, I don't think lightning fast dolls are in Scott's playing cards. So it very well could be a hallucination. After all, we do know that hallucinogenic gases were used in FNAF 4. Who's to say that the effects of those gases didn't linger on and affect the crying child a little bit afterwards? Maybe he was still seeing things, and maybe his mind managed to conjure him up a psychic friend that knows a lot more about him than anyone else he would know. So that way he could have a form of comfort, a form of solidarity, and a form of friendship within this plushie. Granted, the similarities to the Lonely Freddy dolls do need to be called out, but my explanation for this is that the crying child might have saw a Lonely Freddy doll or a couple of Lonely Freddy dolls at the Freddy Fazbear's near his house, so that's where he got the idea for a talking plush. And it being a Freadbear was probably based off of a Freadbear plush that the crying child actually had. So the pieces are in place for us, and let's put this theory together.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call?
Psychic Friend Freadbear.
So, I believe that the crying child saw the Lonely Freddy dolls at his local Freddy Fazbear, had a Freadbear plushie, and witnessed a lot of trauma, and all of this combined with some hallucinogenic gases caused him to develop a sort of imaginary friend within Psychic Friend Freadbear who would know a lot about him. Sort of like Fight Club, but with a lot more animatronics and a lot less Brad Pitt. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Again, thank you guys so much for 300 subscribers. It's been a dream come true. I really love Five Nights at Freddy's, so let me know if you guys want to see more theory videos or just videos about Five Nights at Freddy's in general. I'd be happy to make them for you guys. As always, the subscription button is on your left and the video best suited for you will be on the right. I will see you guys in another video.